Okay, I'm now just going to run through the process needed to turn this site design here that I've got for Custom Webe into a fully functional 5-page website. As you can see down here in my layers, I've already sort of tidied up and grouped them all together into the main components that I'd need to make my website. As you can see in the layers down here, I've grouped them up into the separate components of each image section. So as I turn them on and off, you can then create, in this case, the page image I want to use. So I would save that down as a separate image, and then that's ready to use. It's recommended that you save all your images as PNGs with interlacing. Right, for this example, I've already cut and saved all my images that I need for this website design. So as you can see here, I've got the backgrounds. This one here is the menu background, which I created by duplicating my main menu group into a new document and using slicing across the guides to create my individual menu buttons. And as you can see here, I've got a normal state, a hover state, so I've got a separate graphic for them, and a selected state. To create the menu background, in this case, I simply hid the actual buttons and just saved the background image itself, which is that. Now if I was to bring up my slices and guides on this proof here, or my slices, you can see how I've cut up the website look into its individual pieces that I'm actually going to need. So in this case, as a separate image, I only need this Facebook link here, this area, and the logo area, because if you remember, I'd already created the background as a separate image, like so. This is what I will be uploading directly to the site as the main background. Now, because I've already saved the background image separately, when I save these two slices that I actually need, the only two active ones, I will be saving it like so, completely transparent. This is because the background image is already there and will be in place to come in exactly where it was designed to be. I also saved the menu buttons in the exact same way with a transparent background when I saved them into my buttons. As you can see here, it's just the actual button itself that's been saved, none of the background. The text that you want to use on your website is uploaded separately. I'm only using text in the Photoshop basically for typesetting purposes. Now, providing that all your graphics are set and saved, you've got your text ready, you can now go and start building our Webe. So let's bring that up. Here I'm building Custom Webe. You should have get a quick link when you're building them, or you're going to IX0, the admin logon page. So I'm going to log in as training@webe.co as my password. Log in. You will want your website design open at this time, because you're going to be coming back to it for reference relatively regularly. Alright, once you've logged in, you can see you've got your taskbar has appeared. This has on it all the apps that you need to build it, control it, and view the support and billing options that you have available for your account. Right, step one is to create your pages. Now if we quickly refer back to the Photoshop, you can see I need a home page, an information page, an e-commerce page, one entitled Bespoke, and a contact page. So I'm now going to go and create them on my Custom Webe website. So I'm going to go to onto the local builder bar and find the menu wizard. Up here, now open the menu wizard. And what I want to do first is add a new menu group, and I'm going to call it main menu, and click save. This has created a menu group that I could now select through the various menu viewers, and it would display the menu options that I load into here. So I'm now going to start loading in my menu options. So click add new menu, home, set position 1, and position will become apparent as I add more menu options to the site. So I'm now going to add information, that's going to be position 2, click save, again continue adding, keep adding your menu options until you've got all your pages that you want. So in this case I only want 5. As you can see here, the positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This determines the order in which your menu options would be shown. So if I was to change information's position from 2 to 6, it would now appear below the below the contact menu option. Now that I have created the pages themselves, I now need to turn on security for them. These here are your security levels. Super admin is your user, which is the highest access, which allows you to control the layout and construction of the site as well as manipulate the content. Admin can only manipulate content. Registered user would be, for example, if you had an e-shop, this would be a customer who buys from your shop, so they have an account with your business. And non-registered is anyone viewing your site on the internet. So I need to turn on these pages for myself at super admin. At the moment, because I don't want to let everyone see what I'm building, so I'm going to leave non-registered off for the time being. As it's an information site, I won't need registered, but I will turn on my admin levels. I am also going to set the website homepage. At the moment, this is going to be home, so I'm going to activate this option here, like so, and that is now the homepage. So if I was to type customwebby.com into my browser without any extension or IX0, I would come to this page. This can be changed quite quickly simply by clicking another page. Well, back to home for the moment. Right, what I'm going to do is start building my Webby. So step 1 would be put all my menu graphics and my menus into place. So I'm going to change the options on the menus. So I'm going to move them onto the main menu group that I created earlier. And now I'm going to start loading up my graphics. Right. The height and width you can find by clicking it, in this case 250 by 60. As you can see, home has moved out of here and is now in this main menu group here with the graphics loaded. So you've got edit and delete. So I'm now going to repeat this process for my other menu options. That was the wrong one. Let's load up the correct one. And these are all the same size. And again, you can see information is now moved. Right, now if I click main menu, you can see all my pages have now moved here. Security's remained on. If I was to click edit again, see graphics loaded up and the sizes saved. Once I've done that, I'm now going to go to my home page by clicking on the name here. See, the background has changed and it's now completely white, as this is a brand new page. So I'm now going to close my menu wizard and open my page graphics. Now, as you can see, I did do some testing to ensure my idea worked before I did this recording. So I'm just going to go activate some of these options. At the top we deal with sizes, borders, the background colours and the page image or page colour. So if we want to change either of these, we click edit global and we can now change them. The page width in this case I set at 1400, which match my Photoshop canvas, as you can see down here. So if I'm happy with the settings, I don't think I need to change anything at the moment. I'm just going to click Save Global. As I've changed the options in the global, it will automatically copy that information across to all pages. So if I was to create my site with this background image here and then change it in the global, it would affect all the pages instantly. Over here we also have the local controls, which will overwrite the global controls on a specific page. So anything changed on this side with the local will only affect that individual page. So now that I've got my sizes entered, my page image that I want to use and my background colour, I can now turn these on like this. As you can see, the background's changed to black. This Webe logo has moved over from where it was here. This is because the page now knows how big it is. Now the page image we won't be able to see yet until we start building the website. This is because at the moment the page has no height, so it's displaying the page image with a height of 0. So we're now going to have to start working out the sizes of the columns and areas we need to use in the page builder. Right, the next app we're going to need to use is the page builder. This is what we use to put the applications on the page. As you can see here, I've opened up the page builder and we've got a list of areas labelled 0 to 9. These are horizontal areas across your page. Imagine this like a grid, but it's a very flexible grid. So to start with, I'm going to want to build in area 1, and I've now selected area 1 and I've now had this appear. This lets me set my column sizes. Right, to work out these column sizes we now need to refer back to the Photoshop document that we were working on with the design. So I'll select that now. Now as you can see, I've turned on all my guidelines that I used on this, because this is how we can work out the width of these columns. Now, columns are measured in pixels, so just ensure your Photoshop is measuring in pixels, and you want to open your info panel. What we're going to want to use our ruler to work out the width of these columns. Now we've got one column here, one column here, another column here, another column to here, and one to here. Now this is where the areas come into play, because the top section is area 1 where I am working, indicated by this grid line here. So everything above here would be area 1. As I've already indicated, I've pre-cut this image, which is going to become a link to the Facebook page, and this one, which is the main logo. So as far as I can work out from this, I am going to need a picture for here and a picture for here. Now a lot of this is just blank space. So what we're going to have to do is now start putting this in, starting sort of from this top left corner. So I'm going to measure column 1 of area 1 being that distance there, which is 400 pixels. So I'm now going to start putting this information into the page builder. So column 1, 400 pixels. I'll go back to Photoshop for column 2, which will be from this line here, this guide, over to the edge of slice 2, the custom Webe logo. This one is 470, so I'll go put that in. Then back to Photoshop. And then the third column, where the logo is, will be the width of slice 2. Let's measure that up. It's 430. Now to measure the last column, which will be this one here, this apparently empty one, we still need to factor that in, which is 100 pixels. So I'll now enter that and click save, and it saved the widths I just entered. So this is worked out, this area here, what the widths are of the columns. Now that I've set the widths of my columns for area 1, I now need to work out how I can use the apps within Webe to create the site that looks very much like this. So I'm now going to start doing that process. So in column 1, I'm going to want to use a blank spacer. Now the blank spacer is one of these few applications that actually requires this height value. So this is where I'm now going to go and do a bit more measuring on Photoshop. I'm going to want to measure from the top of my document down to this grid line, which is 180. So I enter that value in here and click save. Again, position works in the same way as menu wizard, as does the security. But instead of home we have a status, which is what turns the app on or off. So I'm going to turn it on, and I want to see it. So I've activated it for Super Admin. Now if I close Page Builder, we can now see that the app's now on the page and has given its used the height to push down 180 pixels and now revealing some of this background image. So what I'm now going to do is continue and add the rest of the apps into the area 1. Now, you end up using a lot of blank spaces sometimes just to push things out, and this is where you need to start measuring with Photoshop again. Now, the first blank space I put in column 1 was this entire height here. Now because I only want to push this section down, because I want to put a different app in here, I only need to measure that section, which is 100. I enter that information, save, and turn the app on in the same way as before. Now below it I indicated I wanted this image here, so I'm now going to add that on. Now as it's in a column, I can add multiple applications into a column. This is where you use the position to control in what order they're appearing. So chosen position 2, and I'm now going to select my picture app. This doesn't need a height because once you upload the picture it will automatically push down the height it requires to display the picture. And turn that on in the same way. And now if I close Page Builder, you can see I've now got my first blank spacer and now these other two in place as well. At the moment they're pushing over and out to the side, but that's only because I haven't uploaded the rest of the apps for the logo and the blank space on the edge. So I'm now going to go and do that. As you can see, each time I choose a new column I can then reset my position to number 1. Now the blank space on the right hand edge, I don't actually need the height pushed down because the rest of the site will do that. I'm only looking for the width, but the blank spacer won't work unless I give it a height, so typically I would use a value of 10. Okay, so I've activated that in the same way. Now if I close Page Builder, you can see how all the apps have now fitted onto the page. So I'm now going to continue putting the apps onto the page in the same way to create now these other areas. The interesting thing here is I'm now going to have to change from area 1 to area 2. This is because I'm going to need different column widths. Within an area, all columns can only be the fixed widths that you set for the area. If you need to change the width of the columns, you need to move into a different area to do this. Right, area 2 of my design is going to be this space that runs all the way across the page between the Facebook image and the custom Webe logo and above the menu and the main body of the content. So I'm going to dedicate area 2 in its entirety to just this space. And the easiest way to do that, do it with a single app. You just set the width of your column 1 at 1400 in this case, which is the full width of my site. So I'll then add a blank spacer into here. Just go and double check the height that I need this to be. 20. So I'll go into that in the same way. Okay, so I've now added my blank spacer. So I'm now going to move on to area 3, which would be this section, everything below it. So I need column 1 down here, column 2 with a menu, column 3 with another space, column 4 would be this image here and then this text space, and column 5 would be again the blank space at the edge. So I'm now going to start putting that in. I want this column here to be 100, so I'm going to do that. So I'm now moving into area 3. Okay, go check the next one. This should be 250 because that's how wide my menu buttons were. Yep. Okay, then on to column 3. Again, the space here. This is 50. Column 4 is now this big one. So all the way across here. 900. And the final column is another 100. Okay, so I'm going to start putting these apps in exactly the same way as before. Again, as the rest of the page I'm putting in for this blank space, so I can use a minimum height. Turn it on. Column 2. Now I want a menu. As it's going down the side on the left, I want this left menu option. Again, don't need a height at the moment, so I'm going to turn it on. That sets that. Column 3. Again, another blank spacer with a minimum. Turn that on. Column 4. Now what I want here is this top section here. It would be a picture, because I've used graphical effects, so I'm going to upload the whole thing as a picture. And then the one beneath it I want text. And turn on these two apps. Down to the last column where I wanted another blank spacer. Again, minimum height. Okay, so I can now close Page Builder for the moment. And you can see all these apps are now over the page. Occasionally you will find that it appears that it's pushed out past your width, but that's only because of the length of the app bars here, telling you about the app, along with bug reporting, your settings controls, any CSS, and your help. So there's nothing to panic about at this time. Right, now I'm going to start using the apps to upload my content. So as I've used a lot of blank spaces, I don't have to do anything with a lot of this, but I do need to put my custom Webby logo in up here. So I'm going to go to that picture app here and choose my settings. Right, this now opens up a dialog with many settings available, and some of them, as you activate other options, will appear. So this one, as this is just a logo, I just need a width and a height, so I'm going to go and find my custom Webby logo, which is here, and that's 429 by 200. I'm going to do that and click save, and you can see it's put a picture frame in place. So I'm now going to use this one here, edit the image, right, choose the image, there it is, click save. Yeah, it's now uploaded my image. Now I also wanted a Facebook one here, so I'm going to go into my settings again. Now this one I would want to link off, so I will be activating this one, and I also have a mouse over image for it as well. So I'll activate this one here. This one will activate, it will show the link in a new window. So I now need to go and see the sizes of that image, which is this one, which is 470 by 80. And this is where you would enter your URL that you want the image to link to, and click save. As you can see, as you mouse over, you get the little hand come up. So I'm going to click the same purple one, edit logo image. It now shows, instead of just one, I've now got two options, normal and hover. So there's my normal image, there's my hover image. I'm going to click save, and we'll upload both of those. Close that dialog. As you can see, I've now got the Facebook that shows the mouse over image, and if I was to click it, it would now link me off to Facebook in a new window. Right, I'm now going to continue uploading my other images. This one here was the welcome text here that I'm now going to upload. I need to go check my size, which is 900 by 60. That's 30. I don't want this to do anything else other than be an image, so I'm now going to upload that. Like so. And as you can see, the page is starting to take shape. If you want to see how your page would look without all your control bars over it, you can use here the preview bar. If you activate preview mode and then choose super admin, which is your security level, you can then hide your taskbars, and it will then remove the taskbars and show you the site as it would appear to a regular user. So at the moment, as we're working on it, we want to be able to show the taskbars. Now the next one here is this menu that we want to do. So I'm going to hit the settings for this, and I want to choose the main menu group. Right, so I'm now selecting the main menu group, click save. If I close this, you can now see my menu buttons have appeared. Now this isn't quite how my design was, so I now need to go and actually give this menu a height. So I'm going to quickly measure that now, and that is 460. So I'm now going to go into the page builder. The quickest way into here from at this stage is to use these links in the app bars. This will take you straight to the app in the area and column that you need to be in, so you don't have to hunt through it. So I'm going to click edit and give it a height of 460 and click save. Now if I close page builder, you see the menu has now spaced out, automatically keeping itself aligned. So I'm now going to upload my background image for the menu, which was this simple line that I made here, this one. So I'm just going to upload that. This is where I'm going to want to click CSS and load up the background. So I'm going to turn on my background image, and select my menu background, and click save. We can now close this dialog box. As you can see, the background has now appeared, and if I was to hide my taskbars, it's starting to look a lot more like my original design here. Right, what I'm now going to do is upload this text. At the moment it is only dummy text, but that once I have the actual text, I'll just be uploading that in exactly the same way. So I'm going to copy that, come back to my Webby and find my text page. Here it is, and then click this one, edit text. I'm then just going to paste in my text and then make it white. Like so. You can also upload your own HTML code into here for a bit more control over what your text looks like. At the moment it's in there, as it's white I can't see it at the moment, but now I'm going to click save and my text has appeared. So if I was to hide my taskbars now, it looks a lot more like my design here. Right, now that I have the basis for my page in place, I'm now going to go and replicate this on each of my other pages. Now the easiest way to do this is to use the built-in templating system, which I'm going to open now. So what I'm going to want to do is edit details to make this page a template. So I'll turn this on here. I'll give it a name. Main banner. Save. That allows me to identify it from other templates. So now I'm going to use the menu I put in and go to the information page, which at this moment is completely blank. So I'm going to change that by opening the templates again and choosing copy from template. I would like a local one, and I think I'll have this one called main banner. Alright, so I'm going to choose my main banner template, click copy from. Now I have the option of selecting which parts of it I'd like to copy. Master page layout is your column width, so you're going to want this, and I used area 1, 2 and 3. So I'm going to select those and then click confirm. And if I close my template manager, I now have a clone of the home page on my information page, and as you can see the menu has changed to reflect this. I'm now using one of the selected graphics. Right, I'm now going to repeat this procedure across the remaining 3 pages. So if I go to the page, choose the template manager, copy from template, choose a local one, then repeat the same selection. Double check that it's come across correctly. Yep. Move on to the next. Each time close template manager just to double check. Yep. Now moving on to the next page. Okay, and now as you can see, in a few minutes I have populated each of my website pages with a large amount of the content.